Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses. First Tellurium Corp., the future of mining. And Hardy Rods and Reels.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another segment on the bench. Today I'm going to tie up a Western Royal Trude. Here's one of my favorite flies for cutthroat, and I've got some great cutthroat streams around me, and this little fly here is one of my go-tos. Let's go over the materials we need to tie the fly. To start, I'm going to be using a 2x long dry fly hook. This is a Daiichi 1280. You can go to 12s, 14s, are good too. We're going to be using some 8/0 olive thread. The tail and the wing is going to be some extra fine deer hair. The body material, I'm going to be using some Arizona synthetic Peacock. I'm going to rib that with some extra fine silver wire, bright wire. The center I'm going to be using, instead of floss, going to use holographic red tinsel. The thorax, I'm going to be, the hackle I'm going to be using is some dark brown, that's actually Grizzly dyed dark brown saddle. And under the wing, a little secret sauce here is the UV Pearl Ice Wing. Gives a nice little glint. You can see that from underneath. It's a great add-on for any of your flies. That's the nice thing about tying your own flies. You can add some of these materials onto some of these old reliable patterns and improve them a little bit. You can imagine what would happen if they'd had a lot of those materials in the older days when all these guys were inventing some of them really good flies that are still very productive today. So we can just kind of trick them out a little bit. So I'll just bring in a little bit of my deer hair, get it in the stacker. You always want to make sure that you've got the underfur out. So it stacks. Get the tips all nicely lined up. Got a little extra, that's okay. You can just peel a little bit off. You can always take away, it's a little easier to take away than add. Get a soft loop on there, and I'll get some pressure on that. And we'll stay back off the thorax. Come to the bend. Come with a soft turn in there, and that'll kind of gather our hair up nice. And I'll just cut these butts off. There we go. We're going to cover that up with our dubbing. Get our silver wire. I always use this extra fine wire on a lot of my dry flies. Doesn't add any weight, and it just little durability here, and it never hurts. Adds a little glint. Now I'm going to come in with the synthetic Peacock. You can use actual Peacock curl in here too, but I like this. Really looks good. Synthetic Arizona products are really, really nice. Now the only thing is it's a little spiky. It's more of a nymph dubbing, and that's what I've done. I chopped it down really fine, and I threw it in my coffee bean grinder and made it a little finer so I can get a nice, little bit smaller. See, it's not such long fibers, more dry fly friendly there, if you will. So we'll come in the back here. We'll take a bit of a butt with our Peacock. A little spiky there. I like that. Then we'll get some of our red holographic tinsel. A few turns in there, about depends on the size of the tinsel you're using. And it's like a nice little bright hot spot there for them. Those cutthroat like that. Then we'll come in with another little pinch of our dubbing. Put a fine dubbing on that. Looks better than Peacock curl to me. And I'm just going to reverse wrap my silver. It gives a little segmentation too. Kind of Helps that, makes that body look pretty nice. There we go. Then we'll come in with our UV wing material. This UV materials, anytime you can use this. Don't need very much of it. Fold it back over itself. Come to the end of the wing, or the end of the tail with it, which will be the end of the wing. And UV is a great add-on for a lot of flies. So you can incorporate a lot of your other patterns here and there. Fish really like eating that UV. They see it. One of my emerger flies years ago was one of the first ones I did with that. And it's a great pattern. The tail comes right, or the wing comes right to the end of the tail. Coming through the butts. Getting good strong turns in there with my thread. Trim these off. Be careful that you don't trim off something you want. One thing working with deer here, a lot of guys staying away from it because it's a little bit tough to work with. I don't know, I just love tying with deer hair. It just makes, I don't know, it's an old favorite standby of mine. To me, a lot of these western flies belong. Deer hair was a real key component over the years and still is. So then we'll just bring in some of our saddle hackle here, this dry fly saddle. I left those butts up there. That's going to hold that saddle in there too. I'm going to put a lot of hackle on this. I just kind of wind through those butts. And I'll just tie it off right behind here. Make sure my thread is behind the eye. Whip finish. I just kind of don't really cut that so I don't cut any hackle. And there it is. Put some head cement on that. She'll fish all day. She's a strong little fly. Very effective. So if you're fishing cutthroats, this is definitely one to put in your box. I'm going to get busy here and tie myself up a good offering for these for the summer. And we'd like to catch you again real soon on Sports Fishing on the Fly. We thank you again for dialing in here with us. If you got any questions or comments, send them on to Don. Ask Don at sfotf.ca, and check out the website as well. And a lot of TV shows there you can watch at your leisure. Have a great day.